Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Bits episode. Coming up in just about a week's time is Rivian's Autonomy Day. I don't really 100% know what it means, but I know that both Scott and I are flying out there, and my buddy Jose from RivianTracker.com, has the best news reviews of Rivian vehicles out there. How would we describe Rivian Tracker, Jose?
I'm kind of like a resource for Rivian owners, like learning about everything and news and reviews. I get to review, Rivian software early, which is exciting, and get to share that with people. So yeah, it's just kind of a fun place to be. It's just me, myself, and I. I
Well, you're killing it, dude.
As a fan,
It's the
thank you.
go-to source. It's awesome. And you're also going to Rivian Autonomy Day. And honestly, this whole thing seems way bigger than I was expecting. So I've brought along Scott, who drives a Gen 2 R1S. I also drive a Gen 2 R1S, and Jose also drives a Gen 2 R1T, but he also has a Gen 2 R1S. And a lot of this is what I'm expecting really quick right up front is my true beloved vehicle, my Generation 1 R1T, my favorite thing I've ever bought. This is where it gets left in the dust in terms of software updates. It's been hanging on by a thread to keep up with the new stuff, but this is where it takes off. So, Jose, tell us a little bit about Autonomy Day, how Rivian's been pitching it, because it's like everyone I know is going to this thing.
Yeah, and I think that's the big deal is I got invited. I was very lucky to get invited. You guys obviously get invited. You're out of spec. You're a big deal. You get invited to all these fun things, and don't be naive. And so but then I kept hearing that more and more people were getting invited, which is super awesome. So I heard more folks from the Rivian online community who share news and information got invited. I heard, as far as like the Reddit mods that moderate the Rivian subreddit, got invited, and a lot of these people were also, play a big part in being able to share Rivian information and all that. And so I think that Rivian really wants to get everybody who is anybody that is like not just a typical driver, but like a big fan and is constantly, about the brand, and that Rivian themselves kind of know they exist. They were like, hey, we're gonna invite you. But not even there. They didn't even stop there, because they also decided to go, hey, we want to invite some Tesla folks. And they did, right? My buddy Justin, who's bearded Tesla, who lives here in Orlando with me, he's going to be flying out there, so it's really cool. And he, he doesn't own a Rivian or anything. He's a big Tesla guy. He praises full self driving and all that good stuff. So, Rivian reached out and said, "Hey, we want you to come out here and take a look at what we have." And I'm sure many others as well that I just don't know about. So Rivian is really making a big deal, and I gotta say, it's ballsy to invite Tesla people like that out there, because those folks are very critical when it comes to how much they love FSD, and so Rivian has to show up with the right stuff, because they can't just be like, here's like lane centering and now it works in like all of the roads. Cool story, bro. Like, it doesn't. That won't fly.
Right. So obviously, if they're inviting the Tesla people, my prediction is they're going to offer some type of like traffic decisions, making turns autonomously, right? Like it can't just be the standard ADA system that they've had.
Well, is it going to be that they're going to launch the software, or are they just talking about their future plans?
I think they're going to launch it in like some type of beta environment.
Oh, so you think they're going to go like big performance, but in a geofenced area?
Yes, there's no way that they would be inviting these Tesla heavy creators without it, without them being able to experience it and see it and do it.
So, Jose, have you been to China at all to see what's going on over there?
No. Everything I know about China is through you.
Okay, so I've been over there, and dude, it's wild. I experienced Huawei's ADS 3.2 system. I think they have a 4.0 now. I've experienced Xpeng's or Xiaopeng's hands, their FSD type competitor situation. And it's amazing that there are multiple systems you can buy with multiple driving characters, with multiple competencies and areas for improvement all in one market.
Yeah.
In the US, currently, you can only buy FSD, or you have to go with like a Zoox or a Waymo or one of those situations. But you can't own that, obviously. That's just a ride along service. If
Right.
you want to own like a great driver assistance system, there's one on the market that can stop and turn and do stuff, and it's Tesla. And to your
Yeah.
point, the Tesla people are so into their FSD systems. A lot of it, to be totally transparent, is like driven by their financial interest in the company and
Of
stock
course. Yeah.
performance, which is
Yep.
super annoying when people like bloat about their service, go about their experience. But I'm a user of FSD and I genuinely see the light for this type of technology. Now, I'm not married to FSD. I am open to lots of competition. I genuinely was laughing at systems like this just about 2 years ago, and within the last 2 years my whole mind, like my whole view on how these systems can impact a daily commute or a drive is completely changed. Like I love FSD and I love to drive. So I'm hoping Rivian's got something close. And I think to Scott's point, they're not going to invite people unless it's pretty damn good.
Right. Rivian's just too smart. So
Yeah, we so we got I don't some so RJ a couple of weeks ago did an interview. I forget who it was with, but in an interview he I was listening to it and he made a point, and then I reported on it because like, oh, nobody's picked this up, but he made a comment saying that he had driven around in an R1 around Palo Alto where the vehicle had driven itself for about 2 hours, right? He didn't go into very many details as to what exactly had happened, but he made it very clear that, like, we'll talk more about it at Autonomy Day, but the fact that he said, hey, he was driven around, right, in an R1 vehicle around Palo Alto for 2 hours, I mean, that's very generalized statement, but like that's more than what we can do today. Because if you or I, we put our R1s, we got to be on a highway, right? It has to be a mapped road. Otherwise, you just kind of get, adaptive cruise control, really, or just base cruise control.
So Scott, because you drive one of these, as do
Mhm.
we, but can you tell everyone the current status of what Rivian offers today?
yeah, currently today they offer a system that is only available on specific pre-mapped highways. So Jose just said highways, but there are some highways that are not pre-mapped here in rural North Carolina and rural parts of Colorado that it does
Yeah.
not work on. But for my Gen 2 R1S, I can go hands-free on like major highways like I-70, I-95, but it's only specific parts of it that are mapped.
And yeah, I would say
Yeah.
most of it where we live in Colorado, especially like the construction zones have moved the highway
Right.
and
Oh
then they don't come
gosh.
through and remap. And it's like,
Right.
well, what mapping
Or
is so
like my
stupid?
major highway in Evergreen, which was literally just one straight highway,
Yeah.
was not mapped.
Yeah, it's
So
so freaking annoying. And so I put comma AI in my Gen 1 Rivian, and that ended up causing some issues with my truck. But
we
Yeah.
loved it. I did a whole video on how much I loved it.
well, to be honest, I haven't been with my truck at all since we shot those videos.
Yeah.
My buddy Drew has stolen it because it's a long story, but I've let him borrow it. I'm going to get it back here pretty soon, and I'm keeping comma AI in there.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm glad that you said that
love
because
it.
I was like, I'm not. You can pry it out of my cold dead hands. If it was available in my Gen 2, I would have it. But maybe the whatever comes out on Autonomy Day will change
Yeah.
that.
Well, and I think for you guys, it'll be a good comparison to be able to test that comma AI versus whatever Rivian has in store.
Mhm.
So, what do you think that the pricing structure is going to be for whatever they offer? Because we know they've already set themselves up to do like Connect Plus payments, and they have announced that the Driver Plus thing is free for whatever period of time. So we know they're going to charge for advanced features. Are they going to charge for what's in the vehicles today? Like, will they charge for basic lane centering? What do you think?
Yeah, so what you're talking about is the Rivian Autonomy Platform Plus, right?
That's it.
Great
Yep.
name. And so actually if we take a step back, Rivian had said at the beginning of 2025 that they were going to begin charging for this, right? But at that time, they really didn't have anything to charge, people for, right? Like, what are you going to charge people when there's really nothing? So they kind of pushed that off, right? It kept pushing off. So pretty much for the whole 2025, we got free autonomy updates, right? And introduced, like Scott mentioned, we got hands-free driving on some pre-mapped highways, right? We got the lane change, so where you tap the blinker and it changes. It's not automatic. You still have to, initiate the lane change, but it will do it for you on, again, those preset mapped highways. And what else?
Collaborative steering.
Collaborative steering, which is such a, I don't use it a lot.
What is collaborative
I really don't.
steering?
Yeah, that's what you really wanted when you first got yours.
Oh, the inching?
Where you can push the car over. I use it when we're next to trucks.
I also use it when we're next to
yes. The thing is, and I don't want to turn this into a whole discussion about that, but like when you're hands off, right? You have to now hands on and scoot over, right? And it's just effort, right? A little bit of effort that's like, I wish the vehicle was smart enough to know.
That is such a Jose thing to say. Okay, Jose, do you realize that when you put your hands on the wheel, eye tracking shuts off and you can just text?
I am not going to confirm or deny that I don't do that.
Okay,
but
I'm not saying you should or we do, but I just think it's so cool how if you need to adjust the radio station, you just touch the wheel and
yeah, because it is annoying that as soon as I look down to change the temperature or the radio, it's like, you're not looking at the road. It's like, guy, it's been 3 seconds. Give me a
also
break.
should know if you're touching the big screen, because in a Tesla,
maybe next week it will.
Screen, it doesn't care at all.
Really?
No,
I saw Andreas sent me a photo of him. He's going to kill me for doing this, for working on his laptop on FSD today because Tesla backed off the notifications.
I don't know that.
Oh, really?
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry to hijack your conversation
No,
there,
that's
but
fine.
I just think that's like one of the best things Rivian does is like you can do the whole hands-free thing, or if you just want like dumb basic lane centering, which is a lot of the time just what I want. It's great at that.
Yeah.
So back to the pricing structure.
Yeah. So let's talk about that because, right. So sorry. So a lot of those things so I was talking about the Rivian Autonomy Platform Plus. A lot of that got pushed off because, Rivian didn't have those features. So as they rolled them out through software updates, we got them and it's been free. But now I think we're getting ready, especially with the next software update coming out, which is going to be 2025.46. That's going to be, I think, there's a reason we don't know much about that update yet, is because I think that's the one tied to a lot of what we're going to learn next week at Autonomy Day, which we'll talk about later because there's still more to talk about that as to what we think will come. But pricing wise, I think we're going to see two levels, right? We're going to see a bunch of features such as hands-free, auto lane change that we have today. I'm talking about what we have today, right? Because there's still, things that are coming that we don't know about. I think those, like, for example, those two things will definitely be behind the paywall where you'll have to pay for the Rivian Autonomy Platform Plus. You probably will still get, your free, adaptive cruise control for free.
But do you think lane centering will be free?
I think lane centering will be free. Yes.
Hands-on lane centering.
I think hands-off. And
I think hands-on will be free. Hands-off will not be free.
I think hands-off will be free, but any type of logic of turns, decision-making, stopping at stoplights will not be free.
So you want everything that you have today for free?
Yeah, because it already is free.
No, it's actually not. They're being nice and generous and giving it to you for free. Isn't that true, Jose, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's free today because they haven't launched the platform to charge for it yet.
Then I think that any Rivian owner up until the launch should be grandfathered in, and I think it should be free.
Okay, I agree with you 100%. They should not charge for what they have today. That's my impression.
Because if I went from having to pay for my hands
buy a
off,
launch edition quad.
Yeah, there you
go. So just for clarification, what I think that's included today, because we can't talk about what's coming because we don't know yet, but like included today, lane change on command, right? Getting that over, and then enhanced highway assist, which is like the double tap, and then you're on your own there. Now the question as to whether you'll still get hands on for free or not, I think that's debatable. I don't know how attached that is to the hands off, to know if they can like break it apart and be like, this is free, that's not. Um, and then of course, I'm wondering if they'll do like, I don't know. There's just so much unknown still, but and then there's gonna be the whole situation of like, what does it cost and how much are they gonna charge and all that. And I think there's definitely gonna be like a one-time payment situation, but I think Rivian's been really good about having monthly subscription as well. So I definitely, I for sure know that they're gonna do a monthly and a one-time subscription, and that will be beneficial for people who lease, because if you lease, and I feel like we don't want a whole redo of full self-driving, right? Everybody who spent thousands of dollars and then either they sold their car or got a new car and they weren't able to transfer FSD over. I don't think Rivian wants to start down that road.
So, just backing up a little bit, the
Yep.
hardware that are in every Gen 2 Rivian, is that capable of full self-driving?
That is what the team has said at Rivian. But also, this is the same team that said that Gen 1 Rivian vehicles were capable of level 3 autonomous driving, and that's not true.
No,
So
hell no.
yeah, you're looking at me crazy, but way back in the day, and there's a lot of, all you have to do is a Google search, because the internet remembers. Way before R1 launched, the
He's not
R1T and the
salty
R1S
about
launched.
this at all.
I mean, I'm gonna be salty with everybody who owns a
love it.
Gen 1 vehicle who's like, I bought this truck for $100,000 and they can't do anything. But
Yeah.
the thing is, like, Rivian did promise back in the day that the vehicle would support level 3 autonomy, right? That's clearly not the case, right? Because they ended up going with a basic Mobileye system, right? Off the shelf. Mobileye is a company that does off the shelf, hands-free driving, technology stuff. And as someone, we've all driven Gen 1 vehicles, we know what its limitations are. And with those potato cameras, right, that just are terrible. So the question becomes, can Gen 2 actually do it? And I really hope so, because if they pull off like, oh, well, you got to buy a Gen 3, I feel like a lot of people are going to be angry again.
Yeah, totally. I'm
know?
with you. I mean, that's one of the things Tesla kind of got right up until recently, where like the hardware 3 cars and hardware 4 cars were like pretty close, and now the hardware 4 cars are pulling away, and
Yeah.
I'm stuck on hardware 3. Like, we're all pissed. We're like, come on, what are you going to upgrade our cars? And I really hope Rivian just got it right with Gen 2, because they knew what they were going to do and put all the cameras or radar or ultrasonic or whatever they plan to use, which we'll learn about on Autonomy Day.
Yep.
I really hope they baked that stuff in the car properly. So that is the next question from my side, which is, they have radar in the vehicle, they have HD camera, they have ultrasonics. Are they going to end up doing vision only, or is it going to be sensor fusion of radar and vision? Because there's no LiDAR in these cars.
No, there's no LiDAR, and RJ, when he gets asked about it, he says he could potentially see the future of LiDAR, but as of right now, no. And I think I personally, I think it's gonna be a fusion of both sensors and camera. I don't think they're gonna pull a vision only situation like Tesla does. I don't know enough, because it's been a while since I've driven a Tesla with like full self driving. When I go to California next week, I'm actually renting a new Model Y with FSD from Ryan over at the Kilowatts. I'm really excited. So I will actually get to play with that for the first time and drive me around San Francisco and whatnot. So I'll get to actually, funny enough, test that and then compare what Rivian has to offer as well, right? Like fresh off my mind, which will be nice. But I know in the beginning, in the early days, when Rivian or Tesla got rid of sensors, there was a lot of headaches with vision only. Has that been resolved? Do we feel better about it today?
I think so. I mean, I'm sensor agnostic. I think it's more about the software that controls it more than the sensor suite itself. I'm not
Yeah.
opposed to more data, but I also know you get more false flags with more data. Based off
Yeah.
my experience in China, there are 2 schools of thought, which is throw everything at it, or just vision only. Like Xpeng and
Okay.
Tesla, vision only, and then like Huawei is like 9 lidars and all this other crazy shit going off the car. Do you care how many sensors a car has, or do you just want it to work?
I just want it to work. You could tell me there
Yeah.
are no sensors in it and I wouldn't care.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if it does what it needs to do, I mean, I think it's an irrelevant argument of what they're using as long as it works and
Yeah,
it's
I
safe,
agree.
right?
It's all about the software tuning on this stuff. So,
Yeah.
okay, we've talked about that it's possible and it seems likely that Gen 2 Rivian vehicles will get updates and it might be behind a paywall. Um, how soon? You mentioned like maybe even in the next software update we're going to see some improvements, and that would be a different approach from Tesla because Tesla did like battery day and then they did autonomy day and kind of nothing happened for
Yeah.
years after those. So do you think Rivian's just pulling like this won't happen until after R3 or it's going to happen right away, or what do you think
No,
timelines look like?
yeah. I actually think it's going to be, I don't think they're waiting. I think that they are ready. Look, I have spoken to people at Rivian, and I know they've been working on this for a long time, right? Like we've seen the test vehicles out there with all the sensor suites. We've now heard from for example RJ that they've been like this is real. Like I think that they're not just gonna have something like here it is and it's coming next year or the end of or beginning of 2027, right? I think that this is something we're gonna start seeing roll out as soon as like December this month. And I think that they want to have all this prepped for R2 because R2 is going to have this tech in it. And as soon as R2 goes, as soon as R2 goes for sale, right? If the goal of it becoming the next Model Y or this mass market production EV that they envision, that's going to be a lot of people on the road. That's even more data they'll be able to collect and gather, right? To help with their models.
So, that's really kind of interesting that they're going to do that so quickly. Scott, what do you think about that? Are you excited to see some updates to your car pretty soon?
I mean, yeah, I've been complaining about it forever. I don't like that I can't put comma in my car.
So, what are
And
you complaining about?
I just want it to drive itself. I don't know. Like I don't. I go from the Tesla and back into my car. I'm like, oh, I love my car
Do
so much
you
more
do
than
you
the
not like
Tesla.
driving, Scott? Or what?
I
What is?
just
I'm curious.
That's a really good question. I like
Yeah.
driving. I think I drive a lot more than the average person. I would say on a regular day, I probably spend about 3 hours driving anywhere. And that's like a normal regular day. I could do even more.
Yeah.
So if I had the ability to just put in my destination and for it to make the turns for me, then I would be a lot happier.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, I love driving. I built my whole business on driving and
Right.
Yeah.
enthusiasm. I just love hitting a button and showing up there most of the time. And then I want a
Right.
fun car for the weekends with 3 pedals and noises and flames out the exhaust.
For me, I just get to turn off my brain and I get to focus on the other 1 million. I mean, imagine getting 3 hours of your day back. For me, that's
Yeah.
huge.
No, I
So
get it. I think that's the whole. I mean, I think you're preaching to the Tesla choir, right? The FSD choir. I kind of fall somewhere in between because I really do like to drive my Rivian. I like to drive any car, really. Um, at the same time, when I do road trips, I don't want to deal with that. And there's nothing more annoying than being hands off, for an hour or two. And then suddenly I hit a stretch of highway that suddenly has been slightly shifted to the left because they're working on construction. And now it doesn't work for the next like 7 miles. And it's like,
right, the
damn
car's
it.
like
Now I got
screaming
now.
at you.
Yeah, it's screaming at me. My wife is panicking because I've jolted the steering wheel so I could take control of the car. And she's like, and then, there's a lot. And in that scenario, like I want to be able to go from here, Orlando, to visit you guys in North Carolina and just like take me, please. Like, let's do it. Right?
Well, you
Like
pretty
all I have
much
to do is
can.
charge.
You
Huh?
pretty much can. Not 100%, but I
I
mean,
can,
Well,
but
you
there's a
still
lot
have
of parts
eyes
of
on.
you still have to have
95.
eyes on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I have to have well, and I'm not even Jose, am not asking for eyes off, and I know that's eventually going to come, but like I'm okay watching the road. Like
Yeah.
that's okay. I don't know if I fully trust the machine to do it yet.
Hmm.
I love technology, but I don't know if we're there yet. And that's
You
that's
just
going to
got to
be a
spend some
test.
time with
Yeah.
FSD
You're
14.2.
right.
It's crazy. It's
I've
crazy.
only done FSD 3 or hardware 3
Yeah, you haven't
FSD.
experienced the newest stuff yet.
No, not never.
Um, Well, Jose, I mean, I think it's exciting. So, Autonomy Day itself will be live streamed. There's going to be a lot of folks there. I'm
Yep.
glad to see you're so bullish on this in the sense that we might see real tangible updates within the next few weeks. That's exciting because I was kind of thinking this is going to be like a 2-year wait till we see anything
Right.
talked here. I will say I'm a little bit hesitant to be so bullish because I went to Rivian's Palo Alto offices earlier this year and I spent time with their ADAS team and made a video with James from who runs their team.
Yep.
It was a really
Yep.
cool experience. But they were excited to show me like collaborative steering and like auto lane change and some other stuff. And they were showing me some real basic ADAS
Mm-hmm.
topics
You
compared
think that
to,
wasn't on purpose? Come
I
on.
mean, it may have been, but it seems
They've
like
been
they've
keeping
made
a
some
lot
real
of this.
leaps.
Yeah, and I think that's what people. I think. Look, I could be wrong, right? It could be garbage for all we know, right? I don't think it is, right? Personally, and like for the record, I don't have stock in Rivian, right? My stock in Rivian is I own 2 vehicles and I run a fan website and I like the brand, right? So I don't,
Yeah.
whatever. If they go bankrupt tomorrow, I'll sell my cars and buy a Tesla. Like whatever. It's not the end of
I
the
mean,
world.
we're in the same boat. I'm actually never selling my T. I'm always keeping that thing.
Yeah, yeah. But so I just want to say, like, I have no stock in if their autonomy day is great or bad. For me, I'll get to report it regardless. Same with you, I'm sure. And but with that being said, I do think that they've been keeping a lot under the covers, and there's probably, I mean, there's so much I wish I could share that I know little tidbits of, but I don't want to talk about here right now because it's not fair to do that. But I know that there's a lot of fun stuff coming, and
That's cool
and
to
I'm
hear.
excited to see what they do, and I hope that it lives up to the expectation. And if not, then I mean I in my book it'll be a big win if we can just get hands-free driving on any godforsaken road. Like if
Totally.
that's all they said to
Or
me,
just
I'd be
lane
like, "We
centering.
win,
Just
everybody
lane
wins, we
centering.
did it,
Just
guys."
lane like that's the
Yeah,
minimum of what I
yeah.
need.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to go from here to the supermarket and like put on lane centering and take me there. And like, I don't want to like have to deal with, abrasive stopping because adaptive cruise control is just bad and like, other nonsense like that or phantom braking or anything like that. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how they handle it because you and I and we've all kind of seen Tesla get here, right? I had a 2020 Model Y, right? That was my, so early days, I remember I owned my Model Y when Tesla started doing the subscription FSD, right? So you could pay monthly
Mm.
for it. I was really
It was
excited
so
because I
bad
would,
back then, though.
but I thought it was great, right? And then I got a Rivian, and respectfully, the Rivian was worse. So I was like, man, what a downgrade. And of course, FSD has come a long way, as I'm sure. Um, but I have not experienced it personally, in that regard yet. And so all I see is people praising this thing. I'm like, but is it that good?
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
It
And
is.
then and I trust that you guys would be honest. So I trust that. So because you're not hashtag TSLA fanboys.
No, I mean,
Uh,
people are so annoying about it because they can't fathom driving another car
yeah,
without FSD.
yeah,
But I would say I'm almost to the point where if you have a spare $500 a month to spend, which just covers
yeah.
a lease payment and insurance, it's almost kind of worth it just to have like a base Model 3 to do your mundane driving tasks
For
with.
your
Yeah.
commute, for your road tripping.
Yeah.
Like
I
Yeah.
mean,
I just think about my grandmother who like can't get around easily, and
Sure.
if she could just type in the address, she's techie enough, she could get somewhere, and I
right.
wouldn't
And
worry about her.
you would just have to tell her, okay, when it really feels wrong, just take over.
Yeah.
I think that's the hardest thing for old people to understand is the gray area of when
Yeah.
the car's got it versus when you gotta have it.
Yeah.
But she would
Yeah.
learn.
And
But her preference would be to do it in a Rivian over a Tesla. So like how great would
sure.
that be? That's
Sure.
a thing.
Yeah. 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 Well, we'll see. I think there's a lot coming, and we'll definitely have to revisit this topic afterwards because I'm curious to see how much we got right and wrong on this.
Yeah, dude. I think man, I really hope they don't charge for what's available in the cars today. I think today should be bare minimum included. They're selling $80,000 cars. That should just be standard. I'm with Scott on that.
Yeah,
I
grandfather it in.
agree with that. I don't want to
Maybe it
pay
won't
more.
be
I
available
agree with
on
that,
our
but I also Rivian is becoming more of a software services company, and that's the reality because here we are. I don't want to pay for it. I don't want another subscription. But if it is, I want to make sure we can use referral points. So whoever's listening out there, please make sure we can use referral points because
Yeah.
But
Hell
if
yeah.
it is
have
a
a- I-
subscription, will you pay for it?
I will.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
hold on. On my T, which is a lease, I would probably monthly subscribe it, right? But I
Okay.
own the S, so I'd probably buy it on the S because we plan on keeping that car for a while. Because I plan. This is a conversation I have with my wife, but I actually plan on getting rid of the T for an R2 next year.
Oh,
I love my T, but we have
I
an S
love
that's
your
fully
T.
paid off and like it's ours. And like honestly, the dual motor variant of Rivian's is like the superior version.
Oh, you don't
You
have to
heard it
tell me
here.
twice.
I know. I love my tri motor, but dual with performance kicks ass. So I don't think you need anything more than that. So like, and if you know, and if because she knows that I'll drive the R2 the most because it's gonna be a content machine. But like, and if she ends up liking the R2, then we'll sell the R1S and I'll buy another T. Like it's whatever, right? It's not the end of the world. Or whatever comes next. Maybe I'll get a Slate or a Scout, not a Slate.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Slate Racing Series would be fun, but Scout's cool too. I mean, dude, that's the cool thing. We've got some cool cars coming. But
Yeah.
for me, Rivian, I mean, I just can't say enough good things about how much I love them and how solid the vehicles are feeling these days. And I don't know, it's like we have a bunch of cars we can drive. I honestly
We
drive more than
always pick
anything.
the Rivian.
I drive my base standard LFP R1S everywhere. That's like my go-to car.
Like it hurts me
Yeah.
that I can't drive my car more because it is a lease and I'm already over mileage.
Yeah, I saw your video. Since when does that matter? Miss 15,000 in like 5 months.
She's not
or
going to
whatever,
pay
I don't know,
for it.
6 months.
It's actually
I know.
16,628 miles. But
There you go.
um
There you go.
Fine. I will either choose to buy it or we're not going to. I don't think Scott would want an R2. I think she likes the R1
no,
size.
I would go for the R3X.
R3X.
Yeah, I would do
Hell
that.
yeah.
Oh,
That'd be
okay.
cool.
I'd do that all day long, but
But that'll be out after your car's up on
right.
lease.
So
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah, let's get through R2 and make sure that they can stay afloat to everybody who thinks that Rivian's going bankrupt tomorrow. And then we'll, if they can manage that, and then Georgia, will be built out and, it'll be fun. But I think the R3 has a great audience too. But that's another topic for another day.
it's me.
Yeah.
It's funny. I didn't know you liked the R3.
Oh my god, I love it.
Okay.
But that's another story for another day. Right now, I'm an R1 stan.
All right. Well, thanks, Jose, for joining. I learned a
Of
ton.
course.
I think, yeah, we should do a call afterwards to see if our expectations were met.
Yeah.
We'll be there in person. Let's get together and do it.
Hell
If you
yeah,
have time.
sounds great. We will.
Yeah.
I think we're just going to be hanging out, interviewing people, filming, folks like yourself, other content creators. I think
Yep.
we'll know a lot of the people there, so I'm looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, can't thank you enough for joining. Can't thank you guys enough for watching at home. Just a nice late evening. It's not that late actually, but it feels late.
It feels like it's 11
It's-
p.m., y'all. It's
I'm already
so dark.
one
7:30.
drinking.
So see you.
It's Wednesday, 7:30, and but it feels like it's midnight outside. So
Yeah, this whole winter weather is screwing me up. I hate it. This whole like
I love
getting
it.
dark at 4:30 p.m. BS.
I love it.
Terrible.
I agree.
All right.
I don't like it.
See you guys later. Thanks for watching.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.